Hello, and welcome back to my small part of the universe. My name is Hailstone. Today, we will be taking another look at the Church of the Husk, as I have determined through recent experience that my first report is now inconclusive and incomplete. So please, sit back, relax, and enjoy what is to come. Things have finally come to a boiling point. The war between the Coalition and the Separatists is getting worse. Rapid colonization is starting to spread to the lower depths of Europa, and with it, the children of the Hawk Mother and the Church of the Husk are gaining more influence among those growing despondent with the war and seek relief and refuge from it, whether it being a grand joke or one seeking to change the fundamental properties of what it means to be human. I have already done what I thought was a comprehensive report on the Church of the Husk, and admitted that I did believe that there were genuine people in the church who believed in its messages, while others were only using it as a cover for illicit activities or an excuse to do whatever they want. But a certain branch in the Church of the Husk has been gaining more influence lately, and for the lack of a better word, have been strong-arming other so-called believers into more orderly pursuits and behaviors. I have come to know this as Jackoff Sobra's branch. Indeed, this is the same Jackoff from the infamous Husk Music Festival and court case, and I assumed him dead. Oh, how wrong I was. Recently, I was hired as a temporary medical consultant and a researcher on a typhon in the European Ridge. They were a group that played both sides, not in the chaotic way, but they just did whatever job they could get their hands on. During this period, I learned this group also often did business with the Church of the Husk, transporting and watching over different acolytes, preventing them from taking communion before they were ready. This is also when I met Jackoff Sobra, or at least the ecclesiast that was willing to talk to me on his behalf. Sobra didn't say much.
First, I would like to extend an apology to any negative experiences you have had with our members. As you see, it is only recently that we were able to get so many branches under control.
I'll at least consider it if you answer more than just a few of my questions.
Please, by all means, how may this humble herald help you along the tides?
The first thing that bothers me is, what was the point of what happened at the church music festival and the preceding trial?
That was a low point for our movement. One that Jackoff Sobra sorely regrets, and one that he's been lectured on many times. But it was also a high point, for in a way, we became drunk as our tests had finally bore fruit, and not one that was born unto the fire forged by man, but one apart, one that was obtained through a true unity.
With the Husk.
Indeed. What was once it has become vague. It instead has become our. Husk and human united, not only in mind and body, but spirit as well. Truly, at first we were not ready for it, and many still will not be, nor ever. We regret those many that could have been that were instead lost in favor of what could be.
I suppose that's what we have been seeing in recent days. A revolution within the church?
What you speak is right. We realized we had a responsibility for the future of humanity here on Europa, one that can't be bogged down with hedonistic incarnations. With Jackoff at the helm, we swore ourselves to become heralds of the tides, to guide humanity into the darkest waters safely before it consumes them.
I guess gaining a unity with the Husk hasn't taken away your humor.
I'll admit, I was worried about our new writings and titles perhaps being too silly, but they are what's required. An idea, a people, with codes and creeds to rally behind them. That's what we needed, and this is only the beginning.
So, what's it like having one not trying to take over? Do you share any form of mental connection with it?
In truth, it is hard to describe. It's very similar to being infected by a feral husk. Yet, it doesn't get in the way. You are a human with a new set of organs instilled in your being, along with a new perspective.
That sounds almost too esoterically vague.
Honestly, it is no different than the evolution of organic life or the formation of the universe. While perhaps you can pull certain strings of truth from reality, gaining a basic or fundamental understanding, that understanding is only made from a few strings plucked from a tightly woven cord that was here long before us and one that will be here long after.
Interesting. I suppose my only question left in that case is, what is your position on the feral husks, I believe you called them?
They are nothing more than animals. Husks driven to survive and spread however they can. I must apologize once more. If you have any more questions, I can approve access to our files. Otherwise, it appears the Coalition has become aware of our presence, and it would be in our best interest to disband from this location. You know how the Coalition can be.
That was the extent of the conversation I had with that Alaciest. The Church of the Husk has done much in the way of revolutionizing itself, reining in many of their rogue and wayward branches. Though there are many that have renounced Subra's branch as heretics, as I have even heard of many different branches trying to start up their own version of the church, though from what I've seen, this means little more than taking up residence in abandoned colonies to partake of their own type of communion, usually becoming feral husk or overdosing on various narcotics. On the subject of the writings of the Church of the Husk, Alaciest Marcus supplied me with a copy of each before departure. The first one in question is the Three Metamorphoses. The title alone reminds me of the Metamorphosis of Kafka from Back on Earth, though these two works are fundamentally different. The Three Metamorphi asks one to identify in a sense what bogs themselves down as individuals, or as human, and what weighs down one's spirit. And it asks of one where that burden is and what negatives emanate from it. Then strive to move on and empty oneself of worries of such, in a way to accept what is to come in the future, to steel themselves and adapt accordingly, and perhaps find a new term of humanity with the Husk. Then, when this new term is reached, a new purpose, a new understanding, and a new human will be revealed unto them. At least that's how I understand it. The other text on becoming a herald of the tides seems less complex. It seems to be a guide on what truly being one with the Husk means, and in particular what it means to guide others to becoming a herald of the tides. It is up to those who reach a unity with the Husk to build a stable future for humanity with the Husk, and avoid the future where such a goal is lost to the Husk, devolving into feral vessels dooming both humans and the symbiote. The church is now far more careful in how it deals with its members ever since the music incident. This is reflected in the attire that one now commonly see. Dark robes that obscure those who dons them, giving off a foreboding and off-putting aura. Yet these robes have more purpose than just some form of cult fashion statement. Both the robe of the zealot and the cultist robes are made in such a way that feral husks are nearly incapable of seeing them as viable targets, with the cultist robes meant to be worn by lower-ranking members who are not yet ready for communion, in order to keep them safe from others who end up becoming husks before they are ready. The zealot robes are woven with cutting-edge technology and hormone injectors that amplify the regenerative capabilities of the husk and keep the symbiote docile even in those who have not obtained a unity with the husk. As it stands now, the Church of the Husk is undergoing a revolution in its own right, and one that will perhaps stand out against this escalating war and offer a unity not just between human and husk, but in the old humanity itself, and at least that is one hope I have before we kill off what little progress we have made here since being cut off from Earth. Thank you for watching another one of my videos. I apologize it's taking a rather considerable amount of time to get to the new Barortauma content. I only recently finished the campaign and I'm still going over scores of notes, and the Church of the Husk is the one that just happened to collectively finish first.